This is part 2 of my mini-series. I call this part the punch. So for years, my wife and I taught martial arts. We taught little kids, specifically her teaching little kids. I was not quite as good at little kids as teaching as she was. But when you teach a little kid, you can't just tell them, make a fist. You gotta punch. So you have to walk it through, step by step by step by step. To do this, you teach a little kid to make a fist by taking the fingers and curling your fingers in. Now you notice, I want you to try this if you want. Make a fist, curl this little finger without curling any other fingers. Oh, I can't do it. I literally cannot do it. So just let it go. Curl the little finger and see where the rest of them go. Now once you get the little finger curled in, curl the rest of them. Keep curling the little finger and watch what happens to the rest of your fingers. The only one that stays virtually independent is this finger, your trigger finger, your index finger. It's weird. The rest of them all just kind of want to go. Curl them all in like a caterpillar curling up. Curl them in and make a fist. Index finger eventually goes in on top and your thumb wraps around. Nice strong fist. You can make a punch and you don't have to worry about breaking your knuckles or your fingers or anything. You still can, but at least you have a better option. Now when striking a solid surface, you don't want to strike like this. Fist straight in. This curved wrist, you're going to end up hurting your wrist. Minimum, you're going to jam it or hypoextend it. Worst case scenario, you break your wrist. So you want to push, and you want to push your knuckles straight. So you have a straight line through your forearm, through your fist. So you're contacting with these knuckles straight in. Honestly, it's the same thing when shooting. We all know that curves or angles are weaker than straight lines. So if, when shooting, I have a curved wrist, this is weaker than a strong wrist, right? Or a straight wrist. Stronger. Lines go straight in. I can apply straight lateral forward force, and I don't have to try to hold my wrist down. Now, this isn't possible when shooting a handgun. Handguns are designed with, we're going to check, make sure it's clear. Handguns are designed with an angle, whether it's a 45-degree angle or less than that, I'm not sure, 37-degree or whatever that is in other ones. They have different angles. So you can't make this straight or you're going to be shooting the ground. Or you're going to be shooting like this, which is even worse because now the gun's going to want to go and it's really weak. So what you're looking for is finding a way to stabilize the gun as you're shooting so the gun goes straight back, strong into your arm, treating your arm like a shock absorber, straight back, without the gun popping up. Seems simple, right? So where do you apply pressure to keep the gun from trying to pop up? Now, if you're applying pressure to the back of the gun and the gun hits at this point right here, we'll call this your fulcrum or your rotation point, it can't go back anymore. So as it hits it, it's going to want to do one thing. It's going to want to continue traveling, and since it can't travel down because you've got your grip here, it's going to slide some back and it's going to rotate up. It has to go someplace. Every action is an opposite equal reaction. So barrel goes up and you're holding on. Now if you're applying all your pressure and your focus on the back of the grip down here, what happens? I'm going to push as hard as I can to the back of that grip, and the gun is going to try to go up. And what happens? It goes up because I'm applying pressure into a point that the gun's actually trying to pull away from, not into. Now if the gun tried to rotate down, which they don't, but if it did, then applying pressure to the back strap would actually make sense because you're going into your hand. So how do you keep your gun from wanting to pop up? Obviously, applying pressure to the back of the back strap isn't doing that. Applying pressure to the top of the back strap isn't doing that. There's only one other place. Applying pressure to the bottom of the back strap. One spot. The gun rotates here. I apply pressure down here. The gun doesn't move. Simple. It makes perfect sense. At least it does to me. So what I'm doing when I'm holding my gun is I'm applying pressure to the lower end of the back strap, but I'm using this finger. Now if you're shooting a small micro gun and you can't get your fingers around, this finger needs to be wrapped all the way around and you're using the other fingers, your ring finger or whatever. But in a gun that you can actually get your little finger on, you need to activate this muscle. Now this muscle is extremely strong. If you ever try one of those grip strength things, You apply leverage, the harder it is, the more leverage you put, which is why they're, angled. So they're angled down, you're gonna apply pressure with your little finger in the front and your palm in the back, and you're gonna squeeze. And as you squeeze, you're gonna curve the rest of your fingers around it, and that's where your strength comes in. But what are you using? You're using this muscle primarily. This muscle comes in, some of the other ones do too, but this is your primary muscle. Same thing with holding onto your gun. You wanna activate this muscle, not by doing this. I know it's contrary to what I said about making a punch. Not by doing this. Try it and feel this muscle. Now, take just this joint right here and pull this knuckle straight back. Don't worry about these joints here, but pull just this joint, this section of your finger straight back, just like this. And watch what happens to that muscle. It gets extremely strong. This finger here, little finger, is still completely pliable. Nothing's being done with that. I'm doing everything here. What I'm doing is I'm literally holding on to the base of the gun with one finger. Now these, remember how I made the fist and the rest of them curved around? These will curve around too. It's very hard to keep them out. And quite frankly, you don't want them to. But you're not applying pressure with the tips of your fingers. You're applying pressure with this section of your fingers right here. You're essentially creating a clamp. You're clamping the gun into your hands forward and back. Not left and right, not like a rope, but forward and back like a clamp. And you're clamping. Now, my index finger goes up high, obviously. My grip goes up as high as I can get it, because the higher I get up in the grip, with my grip up to the gun, the less the gun wants to pop up. But what I'm also doing is I'm taking my primary dominant thumb, in this case my right thumb, and I'm going high with it, straight up. Now, my Atlas Hyperion has got a safety on there. It's a perfect index point, perfect stack. I just stick it right up on top. Thumb goes up high. What that does is it activates this tendon and keeps the gun up. Now, there's other ways of looking at this, and that is you want to keep the thumb out of the way. You want to protect the thumb. You want to keep it from give area and real estate for your other hand. Sorry about that. But I think a lot of instructors or a lot of shooters forget the fact that your grip, your thumb, is doing nothing. Your thumb is just out there. And what you're actually doing with your thumb by lifting it out is you're activating that tendon. If you try it, your thumb's down and pushed, this tendon actually goes in and it becomes relaxed. If you lift that thumb up, that tendon becomes hard and rigid and is activated. So by taking the thumb and lifting it up on your grip, you're activating that tendon, making your grip stronger. You're applying pressure down here, activating that muscle as much as you can, and pulling it here. Now I'm squeezing, I don't do that 60-40 or 70-30 or any of that stuff. This is 100% with my little finger, as much as I can hold on the little finger. And the rest of them are however they fall in place. I want to keep enough pressure with my index finger so I can actually pull the trigger. But as hard as I can with my little finger, I'm holding onto that gun like crazy hard. So that's going to be your dominant hand. Pressure with the little finger. Grip on the base of the hand down here. Lock that muscle out. These fingers are curved in, but no lateral pressure, just straight back. These are actually not being applied, they're just there. Index fingers up off the trigger, thumbs up high, and by applying pressure there, I'm locking this out. By pulling the thumb up, I'm locking this out, and I have all this real estate to put my left hand on. So the next video, part 3, we're going to cover is going to be position of your hand, your left hand, what you're looking at, why you're putting your thumb there, and how to make that one stronger as well. Have fun. Hope to see you on the range.